Enemies in this game tend to play like previous Call of Duties, but these are essentially bullet sponges. It actually brings some interesting variation to the gameplay, to be completely honest. Sometimes you're running and gunning, sometimes you're tactically figuring out how you need to take out a limb-ripping robot. Really, if I were to place Black Ops 3 somewhere, it'd be between BioShock and Titanfall. Because once you're given the mechanical limbs and the DNI system, things become very different. From there, you go through kind of a primer mission that explains your powers and exactly what you're capable of, while giving you a taste for some of the more advanced gameplay that you eventually get to, and learn about some of the technology that essentially allows the game's premise to work. There are a few twists and turns, some of which are a bit predictable, but never groan-worthy. The game holds up pretty much the whole way through, and from a narrative perspective is actually enjoyable. Where Call of Duty has always been a little bit corridor-oriented, because the game has become very, very co-op focused, with literally every single mission in the campaign playable by up to 4 players, a lot of it has been opened up, except obviously there is a definite beginning and end, and it's always kind of directing you towards the end. It really depends on your taste and level design as far as whether or not you'll like it, but at the same time I don't really think it's going to put anybody off the game either. The mechanics have gotten so solid in this series that as long as you know what you're getting, which is somewhat arcade-oriented, fast-paced shooting, I really can't imagine you disliking it. And I'll also say this, to newcomers of the series, I've played enough Call of Duty to notice the progression, but I wouldn't really consider myself a fan, as sometimes it can get a little bit repetitive. They do operate on a yearly release schedule, and sometimes that means it takes them a little bit longer to get to where they're going. That being said, if every single Call of Duty game was this solid, I'd probably play a lot more Call of Duty. But that may also be somewhat of a bias towards the Black Ops series, as the last Call of Duty game I really thought that about was the last Black Ops, which was all the way back in 2012. As far as multiplayer goes, if you've ever played Call of Duty multiplayer before, you know that it doesn't really take a lot to get killed in it, and it results in a very fast-paced game. Bearing that in mind, I'm not really that good at the multiplayer in this game, but I did find it fun, if a little unbalanced. I'm probably what you would call casual in the multiplayer arena, and I was definitely not paired up with a lot of players that match my skill level. That being said, as people play more and their levels go up, the spread between players should be a little bit more apparent to the servers, and matchmaking probably will work a lot better. And even though I'm not really that good at it,